Hello and welcome everybody to opening day of Pittsburgh Pirates franchise. We are playing the Miami Marlins here in Lone Depot Park. It's a very exciting day. John Sciambi and Chris Singleton are not here because I'm the commentator in this series. The Pirates' our best player is really Bryan Reynolds. What's he going to do? He's here long term. O'Neal Cruz hopes to develop into superstardom. We're going to talk about the roster as we play because that feels like the way to do it. We're projected to be 5th in the NL Central, which wasn't as bad when there used to be 6 teams, but now there's only 5. We are tasked today with beating Sandy Alcantara. Now, I will tell you, we do have Paul Skeens on the mound. Jared Jones is injured, as he is in real life. I'll go through the roster maybe at the end if y'all are interested. But this is game 1. Sandy Alcantara did not pitch last year, so these are his 2023 stats that you're seeing. He was a 2022 Cy Young Award winner. So it's going to be a pretty tall task for us to do things, I have to imagine. Now, some housekeeping things just before we get started, because I am going to be playing a few games, but not every game. We're going to be playing on Hall of Fame because that gives us an opportunity to potentially hit without every game having to end like 1-0, although maybe that would be realistic for the Pirates. I don't really know. The Pirates roster, we're going to go through it as we go, is not like the best hitting team in the world. But you never know. You never know. I'd like to give us a fighting shot on at least some of the games when we don't run into an ace like Sandy Alcantara. Now, O'Neal Cruz, the man who's hitting, is going to be a big part of our rebuild, I believe. Right now, he's the center fielder. I think he's a center fielder of the future. Tommy Pham is here. He's like 37 on a 1-year deal. Do we trade him? Do we not? I kind of think we do, depending on how it's going, what we get back for him. Because if we're honest, I don't really think we're going to compete this year, year 1, in Pirates franchises. That's ball 3, and we're working a great at bat with O'Neal Cruz here to start the game. And we're going to ground out to start the season. Hopefully that's not an omen, though I feel like it may be. Our lineup is O'Neal Cruz, Nick Gonzalez, Bryan Reynolds, Joey Bart, McCutchen is at DH. Emmanuel Valdez is going to start in the big leagues at first, but we don't know how long that's going to stick. Ke'Bryan Hayes, and then the other 2 guys at the end is going to be Adam Frazier and Tommy Pham. A lot of stuff to talk about as the game progresses. Nick Gonzalez is a second baseman on the roster, but kind of figures to play a lot of short because we have guys in the minors like a Tamar Johnson, like a Nick York, who are coming and who are probably going to slide into that second base spot. So if the glove and arm can develop, he hopefully will be a pretty good shortstop for us in the long term. Bryan Reynolds, we've talked about. He's been here for a while. He's been linked to trade talks. And at this point, I just don't think it's going to happen. We have him signed long term. It would feel bad to trade him. He's kind of the face of the offense, at least, once McCutchen is done playing. Bryan Reynolds, it's his 7th season. I believe they've all been in Pittsburgh. He's been linked to being traded a bunch of times, but it's never happened. So now it feels like he's going to be a Pittsburgh lifer. He's not necessarily a guy that I'm looking to trade, but if the right deal comes around, as we get an infield hit here, you never know. That's got to be an error on whoever the second baseman is for Miami. Just has to be. Is that Lopez? Is that Nicky Lopez? He feels like a Royal to me. Otto Lopez. And that brings up Joey Bart. Joey Bart is a catcher. He was a top pick at some point, but he was a top pick out in like San Francisco, I believe. and he just never really stuck. So he's meandered over to Pittsburgh, and we're going to see what we can get out of him. As right now, what we get out of him is a double play to end the inning, which is going to bring up Paul Skeens. So Paul Skeens hopefully is as untouchable in 2025 in this game as he is in real life and in real life in 2024. He had some pretty devastating numbers, and that is why he's the opening day starter for us, because he's far and away Pittsburgh's best player, and I would love to build around Paul Skeens. That just is something that I feel like is important for the fan base, because I would love to win a World Series, but I would also like for it to feel like it's Pittsburgh's team. Like, not going, we'll go out of house, obviously, to sign a few guys, but I would like for the core to feel like a Pittsburgh roster. That's really the overall goal. I'm not going to cheese any trades, probably. I guess we'll see how desperate we get in future years. But I would like to build with at least some of the pieces that they have internally, as we're ahead here on Graham Polley. That was a sinker that rose a little bit too much for my liking, but it is 0-2. And Paul Skeens gets pop-up, and it's going to be Emmanuel Valdez, the first baseman for the time being. Makes the play right on top of the mound for out number 2. Miami's lineup is Otto Lopez, Pauly, Xavier Edwards, Griffin Conine, Matt Mervis, Eric Wagaman, Nick Fortes, Derek Hill, and Kyle Stowers, the youngster. Never nervous Matt Mervis. Honestly, a pretty elite nickname if we're honest from Miami. I don't know how many people actually call him that, but like, pretty baller nickname if we're honest. And we get a pop-up to hopefully end the inning from Gold Glove caliber player Ke'Bryan Hayes, and we go to the second. Here's the heartbeat of Pittsburgh. It's Andrew McCutchen. Now, as much as McCutchen likes furries, and I also don't mind furries, he's really been the face of Pittsburgh baseball for a long time, even while he was away in New York or in Milwaukee. When you thought Pirates, you kind of thought Andrew McCutchen. He won an MVP at some point. Just a great player. And he's back here at the tail end of his career. I don't know how long he'll stick around in the game, but my hope would be that it's long enough that we can get him a World Series ring. As we're now 0-2 here with Emmanuel Valdez, and we foul one off. Valdez is first baseman for now. We do have Spencer Horwitz rostered, not in the big leagues, as I record, obviously, because Emmanuel Valdez is playing. I do believe Spencer Horwitz is playing in the bigs right now, as I record this. And he would also, as Ke'Bryan Hayes puts a charge into one into right, and that's going to be off the wall, I believe, and a stand-up double for our third baseman. He just went the other way with it, and I believe that's Griffin Conine in right. Couldn't quite make the play right in front of the scoreboard, and it brings up Adam Frazier, who is a Pirate, like mid-COVID, pre-COVID. I believe he was a Pirate in 2020 as well. And then after that, he's kind of gone on an adventure. He went to like Kansas City. He spent some time in Seattle. He's been around, but now he's back. So we're hoping to get the bat to play like it did pre-COVID, because he could have a say at second base at least for a minute, because we do have some time to fill before our guys like Tamar Johnson are major league ready, because they eventually, the hope is that they will be major league ready, and I'm pretty confident they will develop in the game. But as Adam Frazier rolls over, Sandy Alcantara wins the race to the bag. The hope is that he maybe is the bridge second baseman until we get to one of the young guys. And then we'll figure out what to do with Frazier after that. I don't really have a long-term plan for Frazier. He just is here until I feel like he needs to not be here anymore. So that's pretty much the entire roster. But what are some goals for the series? Well, I would like to, like we said earlier, win a World Series at some point. I would like to develop some of the core, like a Tamar Johnson, a Nick York, Bubba Chandler as a pitcher down in the minor leagues. I think that would be great. Oh, ball two. That was all the way in the strike zone. That ball's laced into left. And that's going to be the first hit off Paul Skeens, and Matt Mervis gets bailed. And we're not happy about it out here in Pittsburgh. Double play ball would be great. We're going to try to control Skeens' pitch counts somewhat, especially early. So that one's just foul. Because I don't think it's super realistic to have him throw like 300 innings. Because it's a different era in baseball. That just wouldn't happen in real life. And we have other guys in the pen to talk about later. That's going to be strike three on Eric Wagaman. Nick Fortes hits a line drive at Nick Gonzalez to end the inning. And we go to the third. So, Tommy Pham is our 9-hole hitter today. He's the last guy we have to talk about. Then it'll be more like normal commentary. But I thought this would be more interesting than me clicking through a roster screen. But Pham, as we get closer to like trade season, is honestly probably the first one to go. It's him, and then not playing today, we have Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, who's going to play a lot of short for us, maybe some third, maybe some second. He's a super utility guy, obviously, in real life, so we're going to use him as such in the game. Jeez. This umpire is terrible. That should have been strike three, but we get second life to add a couple of pitches to Sandy's pitch count. But yeah, he and IKF are probably the first to go once trade season comes around. So that's a while. That's at least a couple of episodes down the road as Tommy Pham lines out. That's at least a couple of episodes down the road. But we're hoping that they play well enough that they command even a little bit of return, because Pittsburgh's minor league depth is not incredible. There's a few pieces we've talked about, but there's not a lot behind what we have. As O'Neal Cruz slams one into right center field, that one's back. It's going to be off the wall, and O'Neal Cruz has himself a stand-up double. It's our second double of the game. That one was right off the MLB Together sign. And it was kind of slammed. Hopefully, that's an omen for what's coming for O'Neal Cruz, because we need him to be a superstar if we want any hope at competing anytime soon. But yeah, so we're not going to like force any crazy trades, even though those happen. This roster, by the way, I believe rewinds to opening day. So like Ronald Acuna is injured. Jared Jones for us is out. Garrett Cole is out. It has like all the stuff, but this rewinds back. So this is putting us at the beginning of the season. Some trades like the Rafael Devers trade haven't happened in this universe at this point and may never happen in this universe. But that's kind of what we're looking at here, is that one's just a low. I guess this umpire just has a really small strike zone. He does not have dinner plans, seems to be the implication here. So that one's fouled away to make it 1-1. That one's a ground ball. That might be our first run of the series. O'Neal Cruz is going to come home. And it's a 2-out single from Brian Reynolds. Puts us on the board. And you do love to see that. Center fielder of the future and now, driven in by, I guess, our left fielder of the future and now, which is great. Bart, of course, as we said earlier, started in San Francisco as their like prized catcher. I feel like at the time he was meant to be like the next Buster Posey type of thing, and it just never really worked out.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
So I'm hoping it works out here. The tricky part to this is we also have a catcher down in the minors. His name is Henry Davis. Pittsburgh fans will be super familiar with him. Maybe you won't be as familiar with him as a non-Pittsburgh fan, but he was meant to be a top catching prospect. I feel like he was compared to Adley Rutschman a lot, at least early, and also early in his career, he just hasn't really shown the ability to hit. So that's why Henry Davis is not in the majors currently, at least on this roster. I'm going to try to have him develop in the minor leagues before we kind of get to that point. But we will see how things go. I need at least one of Joey Bart or Henry Davis to comprehend some offense, because I feel like that's going to be a fairly important thing to be able to do from the catching position for us, because we just don't have a lot of positions that put out a ton of offense for us currently. Maybe that's something we look to rectify down the road. It definitely will be, finding some guys that can hit. But right now, that's kind of where we're looking at, as we're 0-2 here to the youngster Kyle Stowers. And we spike a sweeper just in a horrible way. Terribly uncontrolled. Come back with him with a fastball, and we're getting squeezed, Blue. That is all the way in the strike zone, man. We front door a sinker on him, but goodness, what are we looking at here, Blue? He's done it to us and to Sandy Alcantara for the Marlins, obviously. So it's not like a personal attack. But also, like, can we lock it in one time, dude?
No, inside.
As that one's inside, we're now actually behind 2-0. I feel like Skeens is good enough. He's a 98 overall in this roster. As I guess I should also say, I'm not using the default roster. I'm using a different one because it bumps some of the top prospects to actually be top prospects. There's more A potential prospects, I guess would be the way to do that. To say that. As that one's inside, I'm going to lose my mind. We're 33 pitches into an outing, and I feel like we've been squeezed like 4 times already. Holy cow. Dog, lock it in. We're going to try a full count slider here. Hope he can't square it. Get the swing over it for strike 3. This umpire is on cocaine. We have a shutout through 3, though, so that's good. John Sciambi and Chris Singleton, still not your commentators. I'm still your commentator. So shout out me. Like and subscribe, by the way, if you guys are enjoying this. I hope to put out one a week, maybe. Feels pretty realistic. As that one's fouled away. McCutchen, the 2012 Gold Glove winner, won an MVP. He's had everything in his career, I feel like. Goodness, Blue. What are we doing? I'm the hitter and I'm annoyed. I mean, we have the second coming of Angel Hernandez behind the plate. I guess today, which is wild. I mean, is that not a ball? That was right on the corner, based on some of the other calls we've had today.
3-2.
I will say at least he's not like expanding the zone. It's like he's tightening it, which is tough as the pitcher, but it's like good as the hitter, obviously. I mean, y'all are smart enough to know that. Clearly. I've always wondered how they like code the umpires to be like normal people. Like, how do you code missing certain types of pitches? Maybe somebody smarter than me can let me know that in the comment section. Brian Hayes, he was 1 for 1. He has a double off the right field wall. Is that a strike? It's a very inconsistent strike zone. I mean, I'm going to be talking about that probably the rest of the video. So that one's lined into right field. And a diving attempt by Stowers, but he can't quite get there. And Brian Hayes starts his season 2 for 2. Is a breakout season incoming for Brian Hayes? I hope so. But I guess we'll never really know until later in the series. So make sure you guys subscribe. You see how I did that? Professional YouTuber. Right here. That's me. Christ. He took a tour of a bunch of teams. Seattle comes to mind. I remember that. Kansas City comes to mind as Adam Frazier pummels one to center, and that ball is gone, and it is 3-0 Pittsburgh. I did not think he had it in him to hit one that hard, but he does, and Brian Reynolds is loving it. That ball was demolished to center field. I guess slightly to the right of center field. 428 off the bat of Adam Frazier, who's not really a power guy. So is that something he's adding to his game? It's hard to know. Hard to know this early. But Tommy Pham smokes one into center, and that one's going to be caught to end the inning. But Adam Frazier adds some insurance. Xavier Edwards, I feel like at one time was a top prospect for Miami. Maybe not for Miami. Maybe Tampa. That feels super familiar to me. Yep, acquired from Tampa. Look at me. And just hasn't quite lived up to the hype. Now, part of that is he's still pretty young. But I just feel like it hasn't totally been there, and it does take time. I don't know. I just feel like I would have thought more would have happened for him early. We'll see how he develops. Another fun part of these franchises for me is seeing how prospects on other teams develop, as that one's into right field, and Tommy Pham just cannot field it. And it's a stand-up double for Griffin Conine, the son of a famous Conine, who I believe played for Miami. So that one was just laced to right field, and Tommy Pham, his old man legs, was not able to get over there quite in time, as that's a ground ball up the middle. He's coming home. The throw from Cruz is just late, and it's 3-1. Never nervous Matt Mervis drives in the Marlins' first run of the season right up the middle. Like a line drive ground ball situation. And Conine was safe by quite a bit. It was like semi-competitive, I guess, at the plate, but it wasn't the most competitive. As both teams now are on the board, which is always good. You never want to get shut out on opening day, because I feel like that's just bad vibes. We're going to throw a curveball here, see what happens. And what happens is a non-competitive pitch, as that one started low and then broke lower, as it turns out. But the sweeper gets him, and we are through 4. We still lead 3-1. Cruz hits one into right center field. Is it a Cruz missile? It is. It's 4-1. Pittsburgh. Another just rocket. And Cruz has his first home run of the season. As we have a home run sword. Where was this when Adam Frazier was playing? Hitting homers. We're going to have a pitching change here in Miami. I mean, what a bomb. Honestly. So the new pitcher is Xavier Curry, and the way that he spells his name makes me very uncomfortable. But they still have people warming, because I guess they don't have a whole lot of trust in their man Xavion, which feels fine. That's a ground ball, but foul. Things are looking good here early for us. Couple of home runs, couple of doubles, and a Nick Gonzalez groundout. I kind of like the news on the bottom. That's like gives you updates on milestones and stuff. As Brian Reynolds has 122 career home runs, a number that maybe I should care about, but that I just don't care about. If we're all totally honest with ourselves, not that much. That's a fly ball into right center field. I didn't really think I got it, and I didn't because it jammed and was a little bit late, I feel like. But that turned into a double for Joey Bart. I kind of thought it was an out off the bat, and then it just kept carrying. Nearly hit a seagull, but then wound up landing without hitting a seagull. We were not pulling a Randy Johnson as I exercise my right to swing at anything, apparently, is what I just learned on that pitch there. Not great self-control by me. So McCutchen drives one, and that'll end the inning. I feel like I'm likely going to give Skeens maybe 80 pitches and see where we're at that point. They haven't super hit him well, obviously. We're still hanging out. We're still all right as that ball's ripped foul. We're in a decent spot pitch count-wise. We're only 47 pitches through 5+ innings. But again, I just don't want to super stretch it early in the year, especially. As Nick Fortes turns one around, it's high and deep to left field, and it is gone. And it's now 4-2. Finally turned on 101, and he hit it well. Straight down the line and left, and there was no real doubt off the bat that it was gone. Didn't get all of it, but he got enough. Miami is another team that I feel like has been rebuilding for a while. I feel like I've always heard they have like some sort of plan. Let's say it's like a 3-year plan, 4-year plan, however many years, and then they've been doing that for a decade, basically. Maybe they're going to turn it around, although the NL East is pretty stacked at this point, so I don't actually know if they will. At least in a super timely manner. Xavion Curry out for a second inning of work, and honestly, why not? Because he was pretty dominant in his first inning of work in 2025, and I don't know why it gave me the check swing there. That ball's ripped. Emmanuel Valdez flies out to Stowers. Cabrian Hayes is 2 for 2 somehow today. Hope to keep that going. Drafted in 2015, a decade ago, which is wild to think about if we're honest, as that's a ground ball to left, and that's a base hit. So he starts his season on a 3 for 3 bid. And I don't know how many 3-hit days Cabrian Hayes has ever had in his career, but it can't be that high. I would venture to say that that's probably not his first 3-hit day, but it's hard to say. Hard to say as Adam Frazier goes over foul. But yeah, if he was drafted in 2015, he would have been young as Adam Frazier hits a ground ball through the right side of the infield for a base hit. Tommy Pham rips one, could be 2, and it is. Go to the bottom of the 6th, still 4-2. Cabrian Hayes, though, a 3-hit day. And it's early. Could he get to 4? Stick around to find out. That's how you keep the people watching. Still a lot of baseball to be played. as this is Miami's number 10 prospect, apparently. Which feels like a name maybe I should know then. Maybe he's part of the Miami future. Graham Pauley. Geens has almost no confidence in his fastball right now, which feels fair. So that was the ball that was just hit, as that's a line drive up the middle for a single. And suddenly the tying run is up to the plate. And it's a ground ball. Frazier boots it. And the Pirates are pirating. What should have been 2 now is first and second, no outs. As Adam Frazier, I guess, just takes his eye off the ball? Maybe? I don't know for sure, but that feels like what happened. And now we're in trouble. We got to rear back and fire here with Skeens. Another ground ball, you would hope, would be 2. But again, it's hard to know as that ball's ripped into center field. O'Neal Cruz is back. Makes the play at the warning track. It just stays in, but the runner will tag and go to third. Crazy times here in Miami. And now we face a never nervous Matt Mervis, who was a 39th round pick back when they used to have that many rounds in a draft. Which is crazy to think about, by the way. I know like 10 feels like maybe too few. 39 feels like too many. My apologies to Matt Mervis, but my goodness. So that ball's fouled. 2-2. We are grinding here at this stage. Trying to think about what to throw. We're going to try a slider down that he takes. And now we're full. We're going to just challenge him with a fastball. And that's going to probably bring a run in, but Cruz has kind of a cannon. We don't get a great throw. And the run will score as it is offline. And it's a 1-run game in Miami. Brings up Eric Wagaman. I don't believe that's an earned run. Certainly shouldn't be. I know you can't assume the double play. But you should be able to assume the out at second, which is that run that scored. So Adam Frazier already in some hot water. Skeens strikes him out to end the inning. But Miami gets a run on the board. Well, we're in trouble now because we're facing Jesus. Jesus Tinoco. Tinoka. That guy is on the mound for Miami. He faces O'Neal Cruz, who's been hitting the ball hard today, which is always a plus. That's something you do, in fact, want. It's for your leadoff hitter to hit the ball hard. Doesn't do it there, as we are surprised by the speed of a fastball. And that's the first out. Here's Nick Gonzalez. Here in the top of the 7th inning. Takes inside. It's 1-2. We could use some more insurance because I just have a feeling we're probably going to need more than 4 runs to win the game. That just feels like something that's going to probably need to happen. That's a ground ball up the middle. He's going to have to hurry because Gonzalez runs well and he beats it out. Good hustle by Nick Gonzalez. And that's just ruled a base hit. So it wasn't hit incredibly well, but he was busting it down the line. And he beat it by a quarter of a step, we'll call it. 80 speed. And he showed it off right there with some good hustle. I would take another double opportunity from Joey Bart because that probably gets us a run. He slide stepped us a little bit. And we just flail one out to right field. to end the inning. It's 7th inning stretch, is what the Jumbotron out in right field is telling me. The Marlins, you can see, they kind of have a mix of players in the same way that we have Brian Reynolds leading everything except stolen bases. The Marlins have some good spread around on who their best player is meant to be. So we're going to start warming up some people in the pen. David Bednar is probably the first guy that we're going to warm up, as the music right now is crazy. We're going to warm up Bednar and Miza. I'm going to try to get through this inning relatively quickly with Skeens. If it starts going bad, we'll bring one of them in, as we get a one pitch out, which is very nice. We've lost a couple of miles an hour on our fastball already, which is kind of to be expected, as that's strike 2. And Skeens to try to finish him off. It's fouled into the groinal area of Joey Bart. Luckily, he's got an iron crotch. So we get a strikeout there on Derek Hill. And I'm gonna make the call here that Stowers is gonna be the last hitter that Skeens faces. This would get him through 3 times through the orders. That's just outside, which feels like a pretty good opening day. If we're honest, from Skeens, he allowed 2 earned, or what I'm gonna call 2 earned. 7 innings pitched. A pretty good outing. 5 hits and an error. Maybe a walk. I don't super remember. Some more insurance would be great, as Jesus Tinoco is going to stay in the game here for a 2nd inning of work. Which feels fine as McCutcheon hits a sharp ground ball to the third baseman, who whips it over. Now, we've done a good bit of talking about the lineup. We haven't talked really about the bullpen yet, so now it feels like a pretty good time to do that. Joey Wentz is here as a lefty. He figures to kind of be the long guy, slash if we ever need a spot start or like a bullpen day to rebalance all the like pitcher stamina stuff. He's going to be the guy that does that, likely, and I would feel comfortable with that happening probably a few times this year. Closer for a long time, David Bednar is here. He had 23 saves for Pittsburgh last year. Obviously, that real big 2023, but a big step back last year. So we're hoping he takes another step forward this year to get back to where he was. And honestly, could be trade bait. I don't know. He's linked every year. I get that. But that would be something we'd think about. Chase Sugart is here. Justin Lawrence. A lot of just kind of meh relief options that we could either keep or trade. And then Dennis Santana, who just tried to fight somebody out in Detroit in real life, is our best reliever slash closer. Do we keep him? I don't know. Maybe. Because that ball's smoked, but right at Kyle Stowers for the 2nd out in the inning. Brian Hayes somehow is 3 for 3. And I can't imagine he's had many 3-hit days, as the umpire is still on cocaine. You just can't. Any borderline pitch is just not a strike, as Brian Hayes starts his day off 4 for 4 and a horrible throw in from center field. Looking like a little league team out in Miami, and then the most powerful, nonchalant underhand flip I've ever seen to the pitcher from the catcher. And Frazier's going to roll over to end the inning. Brian Hayes, a 4-hit day. Is this a sign of things to come? Maybe. It's important to me to get Bednar in a game early, so he's going to be our setup man here. You can see his stats there. 5.77 ERA last year. 2023 is really the year that you would say he had a really good year. And then last year just wasn't as good, as he gets a swing from Otto Lopez there. And now it's 0-2 on a splitter. Trying to get a 3-pitch strikeout. We spike a curve. He doesn't chase, which feels fine. Try to sneak a fastball by him here late. Bednar is one of those interesting Pittsburgh pieces where he's been around for a long time, so you have attachment to him, as he just is having all sorts of issues trying to put away Otto Lopez. As Lopez putting together a really good at bat here. But we get him. A fastball at the knees to strike him out here in the 8th. And, yeah, I don't know. Bednar is just one of those interesting guys. Where is he going to be this year? Where is he going to be at the end of this year? Where is he going to be next year? He's an incoming free agent. It's hard to say he'll be a Pirate long term, and then it's also hard to say he won't be a Pittsburgh lifer, as that's a ground ball up the middle for a single from Graham Polley. And suddenly the go-ahead run is at the plate here in the 8th in the form of Xavier Edwards. As that ball is hammered into left field, Reynolds back at the track, and it's gone. Xavier Edwards, a big home run late to take the lead in Miami. And that is just infuriating. That's tough, I won't lie to you. Went the other way with it. And the wind is just out to left enough. I think it's like 8 miles an hour out. And it is out enough. The ball just cleared the fence. No wind. I feel like that might be off the top of the wall. Or potentially even caught. As now we have to bear down here. And get a couple of outs. Would be ideal. That's a ground ball foul. I stand by taking Skeens out of the game. He was getting up there in pitch count, as we just are not having a whole lot of success here getting a swing and miss with Bednar to end at bats. So that ball is kind of roasted into left field, and Brian Reynolds gets the worst read of all time. What are we doing? He eventually gets there. That brings up Matt Mervis. It would be sick if just one time we got a borderline pitch called a strike. Just one. So that'll end the inning, and suddenly we're down. Because Xavier Edwards hit a home run, and things are not looking great for us. But we'll try to make something happen. Miami's closer, I guess, is Anthony Bender. Great name for a pitcher. Good old Bender. Throwing his bender. He has a bender. If you know what I'm saying. We got Tommy Pham, and then the top of the lineup. As we'll rip one foul. Bender. 3-pitch guy. Sinker, sweeper, slider. We'll see what we're able to do here. So far, he's thrown 2 sinkers down the middle, and we've missed both of them. And they were the exact same pitch. And I wasn't ready for either. As Tommy Pham rips one up the middle. And we're not going quietly into the night. At least not yet. Now here's a great question that I haven't really thought about at this point, but I guess would be good to know. Do we have any speed on the bench? And the answer is not really. I guess we are going to use Jared Triolo, who's our backup middle infielder, I guess. But we also have Kiner Falefa, so he's like around a little bit. Is that... They say we swing is fine. Another big hit from Cruz here would go a long way. So we take a ball. We just need a hit here, O'Neill. One time for the hose. Rips one at 105 miles an hour. Unfortunately, it is right at Matt Mervis, the first baseman, and now there's 2 outs in the inning. Any elevation, and that is trouble, or any launch angle, I guess, that is trouble. But instead, it's 2 outs, and the game comes down to Nick Gonzalez. As that is strike 1. Gonzalez laces one into left field, but it's caught to end the game, and we lose opening day. And that is just super unfortunate given the start that Skeens had. But I think that's going to be part of the problem with the team, is finishing the games where the starters have good starts and just closing it out. Jesus Tinoco with the win, David Bednar with the loss is tough. Not our best showing, for sure. Brian Hayes, 4 for 4 though, so that's always a win. Always a win to have a guy go 4 for 4, especially a guy who you're hoping it goes well offensively. How are we going to do the rest of this? Well, there's going to be some amount of me playing, but I'm not going to play all 162. Right? We're just not. We're going to play some of the important ones. Next episode, probably, you're going to see me play the Yankees at home for the home opener. Feels like that'll be a fun one. We are, I guess, going to simulate to get to that point. See if anything pops up. Somehow, in our division, everybody but the Cubs lost. So we're still tied for second. That feels like a win. All right, so next episode, we're going to face the Yankees. We are 3-4, and Andrew Heaney gets the home opener against Andrew Rodon. We started tough. We started 0-3. We lost 1-0 behind Mitch Keller. And then Andrew Heaney got lit the hell up. And then we went on kind of a 3-game heater. Wound up losing the next one to Tampa, where Mitch Keller again has another tough luck loss. But yeah, next episode, we get the Yankees at home. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you did make it to the end of the video. And we'll have more of these in the future. But I'll catch y'all in the next Pirates franchise.